Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you a brand new series. What if Naruto was a genius with a stealing Bloodline jutsu? Yes guys, this Naruto will be very deceitful, manipulative, and also a genius. Yes, his path will be something far different than what everyone expected because, well, he can manipulate people to a degree that is just impeccable. He's been doing it for years. Well, you guys just have to watch for yourself and see guys, and not to mention with his ability. Who knows how powerful he can become? And what he planned to do? Well, you can witness all of that by staying in tune guys. And also if you want to check it out for yourself, link in the description so you can enjoy it for yourself guys. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into it? Begin now guys. Hello Naruto-kun. I see that you have finally woken up. My name is Kabuto. Despite how young I might look, I am a nurse employed here at the hospital. The white hair, 12-year-old greeted with a kind smile. He was wearing a two-piece purple outfit with a sash around the waist, along with blue shinobi sandals and a brown weapon pouch on his left side. His hair was tied up in a ponytail and his eyes was dark in color. I know, I've seen you around before, said Naruto. His voice was hoarse, as the 7-year-old Uzumaki Naruto already established that he was in the hospital yet again, and that his near-fatal injuries had already been healed thanks to his fast regeneration. However, things were different this time. That is why there was heavy military guard around his room. This time around, after all, for the first time since he was born, Naruto had not only killed someone today, he had killed 12 people, 12 members of the civilian populace. 8 of them were not direct kills. They were caught up in the traps that Naruto had set around his apartment, as he knew on his birthday what they would try. His birthday was on the anniversary of the heinous Kyuubi attack. However, 4 of the kills, the last remaining 4, had been direct, as Naruto had to defend himself. While he tried to escape, he was attacked, and he had to use a kunai that he had to slit their throats. But he was then hit with crossbows, as he did not see them coming. It turns out some of the civilians had good skills in hunting. Following that ordeal after he was injured, he got the biggest beating that he ever received. Seeing that he had killed a lot of them, the civilians were not just satisfied with a beating this time. They were going to kill him, and to hell with the Hokage and his decree. As far as they were concerned, Naruto has already proven what they knew all along, that he was evil incarnate. Eventually, the Anvus decided to find it prudent to intervene before the boy died, because not even the Kyuubi Jinchuriki could stand all the wounds that were inflicted upon him. The Hokage had been called to the scene, but by then, the civilian populace had already scattered and gone back to their homes. At least that was a story that was being prepared for Naruto to be told. Oh well, that's good. And please don't worry, I know how the other nurses treat you, but I'm not like them. I don't think you're a demon, and as far as you killing some of the civilians, I am not sure if you already know, but in Konoha law, killing in self-defense is not a crime, Kabuto said with a kind smile, as the cogs in his head were turning, as he waited for the young Uzumaki response. Of course, he had no intentions of recruiting young Naruto. As far as he knew, the kid was not very talented, and on top of that, recruiting Naruto would bring the wrath of Konoha upon the Hidden Sound and his master, and they could not handle that at the moment as much as he hated to admit it. However, turning the Uzumaki hatred towards Konoha might help them out in the long run. It might even help them as he seek vengeance against Konoha for what they put him through, as Kabuto was scheming up his plan already. He knew that Naruto was right under the third Hokage thumb right now, so he had to do something before the third Hokage is here. As Naruto spoke up, "It's not," he said. A sigh of relief at hearing that. Of course not. It is their constitutional right enacted by the first Hokage himself. You know, you should take more time to visit the civilian library, Naruto-kun. Ninjutsu is good and all, but you can't just win in a battle on strength alone. Some battles are fought in the court of law, or sometimes in the council room. People will exploit and manipulate you easily when you lack knowledge. Ignorance is the biggest weakness a person can have, especially when they aspire to become a shinobi. Not only shinobi though, the Hokage. Consider this experience to be a very important lesson, Naruto-kun. Naruto looked up towards him. How did you know about my dream? Everyone knows about your dream, Naruto-kun. You shouted out loud on the streets so many times. I doubt there's a single person that does not know about it. Kabuto said with a small chuckle, as Naruto chuckled and rubbed back of his head. I guess you're right. In the future though, I would not recommend it, Kabuto said. As Naruto gave him a skeptical look, with confusion. What do you mean? I think you should know by now. It's not only the civilians that treat you a certain way, but the shinobis as well. Imagine if your teacher at the academy despised you as well. Don't you think that they would try everything in their power to sabotage you, your growth? And with you keep on shouting that you become Hokage, how do you think they would feel knowing that one day you might become their boss? As Naruto went quiet, the people wouldn't know. What was he thinking? They tried to kill him, so of course they would sabotage his growth. As Naruto always find it funny that things were different whenever he was given certain things in class. The scripts were different from the person sitting next to him, as it was confused and the taijutsu that he was taught was a different style. And whenever he couldn't correct it, the teacher told him that he was doing it well, but that is not what he saw the other kids doing. And they also took him aside and taught him some advanced katas, those being fighting styles. They told him that he was advanced, and they told him that everyone's test was different. So they were really sabotaging him, as civilians would try nothing but to hurt him. So wouldn't they try to manipulate the teachers or be friends with said teachers to try and... All this time Naruto thought to himself, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to graduate if I'm not being taught the proper way? Well, said Kabuto, trailing off. Well, what, Kabuto-san, said Naruto, looking up towards him, trying to hear something that would help him in his big problem. I would offer to teach you myself, but I'm nothing but a genin, and I also think that you wouldn't be that interested in medical ninjutsu anyways. And besides, it's illegal for me to teach you without the Hokage permission, seeing that we're not a part of a clan, and not to mention, you're a civilian speaking in terms, seeing that you're only in the academy. However, if we were to keep it a secret, I'm not seeing a way that the Hokage would find out. But then again, I'm not sure if you're good at keeping secrets. And I'm not sure that you'd want to keep secrets from your Jiji. I'll do it, said Naruto. I promise. I won't tell anyone, said Naruto. I don't know, Naruto-kun. I mean, you do know that we'll be in trouble if anyone was to find out, right? And that's not all, I'll be in even more trouble, seeing that I don't have a close relationship to the Hokage. But also there's a higher burden of responsibility on me because I am a shinobi right now, and you're just an academy student, said Kabuto, as he waited, acting unsure. Oh, I guess you're right. I guess you really cannot help me then. It's okay though, you already helped me a lot already, and I don't want you to be in trouble because of me. Naruto trailed off with a sad expression as he gripped the sheets rather tightly, tears stinging at his eyes, but he did not let them fall. Well, said Kabuto, I may have a plan that will guarantee that we don't get caught. Kabuto trailed off with a sinister smirk, shocked how easy he had came up with his plan, and how well things were working out. He discovered how much chakra the boy had today when he was running a diagnostic test on him, and he knew that his plan would work. All he had to do was teach him the shadow clone technique, and with his chakra reserves, the jutsu would not take too long to master. This way he would have him use the shadow clones at the academy, while he could train the real Naruto. If he was busy on that day, he would send his own clone to go and meet him. What is it, Kabuto-san, said Naruto. Tell me. As Kabuto smiled, tell me, Naruto-kun, How would you like it if I taught you a new jutsu? Time skip. 5 years later. It's not like you to pay me an unexpected visit, Naruto-kun. Were you hoping to catch me in the middle of creating a sinister plot against you? Kabuto asks. As he did not turn around instead, he was messing with a corpse in front of him on the table, performing one of his corpse/DNA experiments, which was one of his favorite parts of his research. Something that he passed on to Naruto, as he seemed to like playing with corpses just as much as Kabuto did. You know, you're incredibly hard to sneak up on, for someone who is not a sensor type. Nevertheless, it's your master I do not trust, not you. And I was not hoping to catch you doing anything I would not expect to see you doing. I'm here to get some information about my new Jonin sensei, Kakashi Hatake. I was hoping you could let me take a look on your info cards about him. As Naruto walked and stood beside Kabuto looking over to what he was doing to the corpse. He was no longer wearing his orange jumpsuit, a change that he made this morning when he went to the genin inauguration ceremony. He was wearing black ninja pants at the moment with white bandage around the ankle, black sandals on his feet as well, a brown weapon pouch on his left thigh, followed by a dark orange sweater with a Uzumaki swirl on the back, with his headband protector wrapped around his forehead. On his back he was carrying the Fuji no Ken, which was actually a gunbei that he used as his primary weapon. Every new graduate, along with the teachers and the Hokage himself, had been shocked when they saw Naruto's new appearance. And strangely enough, he looked taller than he did the previous day. And there was also a significant less amount of baby fat on his face than the previous day. The first instinct for everyone was to place their hands in the ram hand sign and said, "Release." But nothing changed, to show that it was not some sort of illusion. As Naruto acted like he did not notice everyone acting weird in front of him, as he just sat and waited for the team to be announced and for their sensei to come and take them away. However, he had to spend 4 hours for a sensei to arrive, and he had to spend so much time in the same room as Sasuke and Sakura, although it wasn't as half as annoying as he thought. Sasuke, for the most part, apart from the few gazes that he looked towards Naruto with, kept to himself, as he refused to engage in any sort of conversation. Not that Naruto tried either. Sakura seemed to be split between staring dreamily at Sasuke and glaring at Naruto, as Naruto remained unfazed by her behavior though. Eventually she cracked and yelled at him to stop acting like Sasuke. His reply was a simple, "Okay." The reaction had stunned her, as that allowed her to keep quiet for the remaining time until they were there. In any case, they were going to have a test tomorrow, as Naruto wanted to pass this test so that he could be a shinobi. Not that he wanted to serve Konoha or become Hokage, but because he wanted to travel the world and see places, something that he has already been doing under disguise, as he had to leave a clone behind and also use the envelope code for the security barrier that Kabuto had given to him so he would not alert the barrier squad upon his departure. Now he could go on missions and interact with the world freely. Relatively speaking, of course. "So you're Jonin Sensei's Kakashi Hatake, huh?" "Just as you predicted," said Kabuto. "It was very easy to predict, in all honesty," said Naruto. "He was my father's student, and he had an Uchiha teammate and friend. Not to mention Sasuke is the last Uchiha, thereby in need of a Sharingan wielder to show him the ropes. We were always going to be on the same team whether I finished dead last or not," Naruto said. Kabuto was of course the reason why Naruto knew about his parents. The medical ninja had noticed some holes in the story that Hiruzen told Naruto about his past, some glaring ones as well. And the more he thought about it, he realized there had to be more than what meets the eye. That is when he broke into the seal record section of the hospital, and he did some research. That is where he found out that Naruto's mother was Kushina Uzumaki, who was ironically enough the previous holder of the Kyuubi, as she was secretly married to the 4th Hokage, and she also had an aunt that lived in the village, and once again was the holder of the Kyuubi, who was married to the 1st Hokage. Kabuto had struggled for days to come to terms with what he had learned, so much so that he did background on the Uzumaki family. But they were not just a family, they were a prestigious clan that could rival the Senju and Uchihas, and they had actually had their own ninja village, and they were master of Fuinjutsu. It became clear on that day that Naruto would become far more than just a side project and a distraction. He was going to be a lot more than that. Naruto would be the key to mastering the Edo Tensei technique and completing and perfecting the cursed seal that he and Orochimaru-sama were working on. Though Kabuto was still getting around to asking the blonde Uzumaki for help regarding that. In any case, Kabuto had revealed the information to Naruto, as it worked perfectly because Naruto neither trust or like Hiruzen anymore, and he had no love for people in Konoha, well, except for the Ichirakus. Speaking of which, Kabuto wanted to sever that tie, to stage a situation where the villagers would end up killing the Ichiraku family, in order to hurt the blonde Uzumaki. However, Naruto's affinity for corpses and his growth in personality grew, meaning that his lightness towards Kabuto over the time had made him abandon that plan, because it was not necessary. Nevertheless, Kabuto found out that the abode that Kushina Uzumaki and the fourth Hokage shared was still intact, as it was covered with barriers and sealed to keep out trespassers. That is when Kabuto convinced Naruto that he was the only one that could enter, and he should, to learn more about his parents and maybe even inherit jutsu scrolls that was left behind by his parents, which is indeed what had been waiting for the blonde Uzumaki. Kabuto had taught Naruto the Shadow Clone Jutsu on the day they met at the hospital, so Naruto could send the clone to school and make the rest of the day learning from Kabuto. However, seeing that Naruto could retain all the knowledge his clone get while he was in class, they decided to switch things up. Instead of sending the clone to school, they would send the real Naruto there, and one clone would go to the Uzumaki estate and learn everything that he could about Funjutsu, barriers, Kinjutsu, and secret Uzumaki jutsus. However, Naruto had refused the idea, saying that he, the original, would do the day training in endurance, strength, speed and reflex, and agility, something that his father had developed for close-range fighting, a whole flawless techniques on fast-moving fighting. He also split his clones, as he had a group of them working on different things: barrier jutsus, Kinjutsu with a blade, secret jutsus, taijutsu katas, medical ninjutsu, elemental jutsu. He did not need to assign one for each task because he could make thousands. A single reinforced clone that was reinforced to go to school for the rest of the academy days, while the real Naruto grew by leaps and bounds in all those years, mentally, physically, and ninjutsu-wise. Kabuto spoke up. "It seems like you already know a lot about Kakashi Hatake, Naruto-kun. I'm not sure what you need me for. Just give me the damn info card, sensei," said Naruto, as he released an exhausted sigh. "I guess patience will never be your strong suit," said Kabuto, as he pulled out the cards. 4 cards just for one guy. "It seems like you did a thorough investigation on this person." "I expect nothing less, Kabuto-sensei," said Naruto, as he went off to study said information, as Kabuto simply smirked to himself. Naruto already figured out that he worked for Orochimaru, and yet he has not gone anywhere. Maybe he won't mind helping out here and there with some of our projects, Kabuto thought. The next day, "Naruto Baka, where the hell have you been? We've been waiting here for 3 hours," Sakura yelled the moment she saw Naruto, as she wanted nothing more than to smack the living daylights out of the blonde Uzumaki. But she did not have the energy or the enthusiasm, given how hungry and drowsy she was right now. "Well, I did not see any reason to arrive early, seeing that our sensei was so late yesterday. I did a bit of a gathering of information yesterday, and I found out that the guy is not late sometimes, but he's always late." "What? That can't be true. How could someone so unprofessional retain his position? How would he get promoted in the first place?" Sakura said. "Well, it can mean one thing," said Naruto. What she said: "He must be very skilled and strong, and so important that the Hokage is willing to overlook his deficiencies in order for him to enjoy his time in service for the village." Both of their eyes widened as Naruto's words sank in. "In any case, I figure that you guys will be starving by now, so I brought you some food," as he tossed 2 scrolls towards them. "Naruto, weren't you listening? Sensei said that we should not eat anything." However, all that was said was nullified by her stomach grumbling. He never ordered that we should not eat. He only recommended it. Besides, if we're gonna do anything strenuous, you're gonna need your strength, and having a balanced meal would give you that. Kakashi Sensei is obviously playing a trick on us, suggesting that we don't eat, especially considering how late he is. As the both of them were shocked not only by Naruto's words, but how smart everything he said was. When did you learn to use your brain, dope? Sasuke said, as he unsealed the avocado, cheese, tomato sandwich. From said strolled Sakura following as well, as she convinced herself that it had to be the right thing to do if Sasuke was doing it. Not long ago, said Naruto. The both of them paused in shock. Given what Sasuke just said, they expect him to go all crazy, even Sasuke. But yet his response was so calm and he did not even raise his tone. I suggest that you eat up before our sensei decide to make his presence known. As Sasuke brought the sandwich up, Sasuke. They froze as your sensei arrived. I thought I warned you what would happen if you eat today. Kakashi said with a dose of killer intent, directed towards Uchiha. I don't care. I've decided that your advice is garbage. Besides, you also said to arrive at 5, and look what time it is now, Sasuke said. As I recall, I never said that I would arrive at the same time that you did. Therefore, Naruto, you automatically failed the exam for not following your commander orders, said Kakashi as he turned towards Naruto, with even more killer intent. Actually, I've been here the whole time. Just because you didn't know I was here, doesn't mean I was not. And on the contrary, you fail as a commander for not noticing such an important detail. Naruto countered swiftly, causing Kakashi's visible eye to widen at that. Do you have proof that you were here? He asked. Do you have proof that I was not? Said Naruto. Kakashi narrowed his eyes. He looked down towards Naruto. Sakura, he said. Did you see or sense Naruto before he appeared? No, Sensei, said Sakura nervously. Sasuke, did you see or sense Naruto's presence in any other way before he revealed himself to you? Kakashi asked. No, Sasuke said, as he wondered if Naruto was here the entire time or if he was playing the Cyclops, so he would not get disqualified. But if Naruto was really here and he could not even know that, what did that mean for Naruto's skills? Or his own, he wondered to himself. So neither Sakura or Sasuke or I was able to detect any signs of your presence. So that is more than enough reason to believe that you were not in fact here, said Kakashi. Sakura, Sasuke, did either of you detect our sensei's presence before he revealed himself? Naruto asked with a serious tone, catching them off guard, as none of them expected that line of questioning, as they seemed to be in some kind of surprised stupor. He snapped towards them. Answer the question, he said. No. Both of them spoke at the same time. Sasuke frowned as he wondered what the dope was up to. Neither did I, said Naruto, as he was lying through his teeth. After all, he was a very accomplished sensor-type shinobi. Of course he detect the copy ninja presence. What is your point, Kakashi asks. My point is, it is irrelevant whether you were able to detect my presence or not. Because going by your logic, you were not here to begin with if all three of us was unable to pick up your presence. And if you continue to insist that you were here despite the three of us not knowing, I will say the same thing. I was here, despite the three of you failing to notice that I was here. Well then, said Kakashi, I will prove that I was here by reciting everything Sakura did once she arrived, said Kakashi. As he wondered to himself, what will you do now, he thought, as he looked towards the blonde. Well then, that's simple. I will prove that I was here by reciting everything Sasuke did since he arrived, said Naruto. Kakashi's lone eyes spasmed a bit, because if Naruto was really here, and he was truly unable to detect him, that meant that he had slipped badly in these times of peace, or Naruto was more than what he gave away. It took 15 minutes for Kakashi to recite what Sakura said, and it took around the same time for Naruto to do the exact same for Sasuke to prove that he was indeed here. As neither man would admit that, the both of them had sent a clone to watch over while the originals were doing their own thing. And there you have it, said Naruto. I was here the entire time. As Naruto was aware that his new attitude and quick thinking would raise some suspicion towards his skill level, but he was willing to take a hit cover so that he could finally graduate. After all, he was fed up of being within the village. Both Sakura and Sasuke were angered by the new revelations for different reasons. Sakura was pissed off because in her mind, Naruto was nothing but a perverted stalker who had spent hours spying on her and Sasuke in their alone time. The reason why Sasuke was angry was because of his ignorance and naivete that led him to be tricked by Kakashi and be outdone by Naruto, and also Either of them could have killed him if they wanted to because he could not pick up on a single trail of either of them, and they were here for so long. If the two of them were capable of something like that, especially Naruto, just how far away was Itachi? Would he ever reach that level? Time skip, 10 minutes later. Both of your comrades have done the smart thing and taken cover. Not only to buy time so they can come up with a strategy, so that they can take me down, but also to catch me off guard with their attack. That is not only the smart thing to do, but it's also the shinobi thing to do. However, what you are doing? Kakashi trailed off as he looked towards the blonde. I wonder if reading a pornographic novel as you are about to be attacked with the intent to kill is a shinobi thing to do as well, Naruto asks. Meh, don't worry about me, said Kakashi. I'll be fine. Before his voice became serious. Besides, a true shinobi should not be worrying about their enemies, but the completion of the mission. As Naruto chuckled a bit, you're gonna rue those words very soon, sensei, he said to him. As Naruto brought his hand up, sexy jutsu. As Naruto transformed, but what he transformed into shocked Kakashi to his core. As Naruto transformed into an adult, Ren Nohara, which was Kakashi's deceased teammate, wearing a very skimpy outfit, very similar to a bathing suit, revealing a lot. Her hair was longer as well, reaching all the way down to her buttocks, but her eyes were still the same, with those tattoo marks on her cheeks as well. Naruto could not speak because he had no idea what her voice was like when she was alive, not to mention what it would be like when she was an adult. As a result, the jutsu could not be completed, as he had to settle for a provocative pose, blowing a kiss towards the copy ninja. Sakura and Sasuke were not only shocked but also confused by what the blonde Uzumaki was doing, so much so that Sakura was convinced that Naruto did not belong anywhere besides a mental institution or a prison cell for the notorious activities and behavior that he was showing. And Sasuke was convinced that what Naruto did earlier was just a fluke. There was no way that someone could be so dumb and smart at the same time. As for Kakashi, he was caught off guard by Naruto's strategy, if one would call it that. However, thoughts of confusion crossed his mind on how Naruto knew about Ren in the first place. And finally, rage. Rage boiled up inside of the copy ninja, because this atrocity in front of him was the highest form of an insult of all the people memory to screw with her. As Kakashi clenched his fists, Naruto, he said. The snapping sound of him closing his book echoed around the clearing. A terrible killer intent washed over the entire place, enough to freeze Sasuke and Sakura. It would have been worse if the killer intent was directed towards them, but it was not. I told you that you would have regretted your words shortly, Kakashi-kun, said Naruto, trying to mimic a female voice as closely as possible. You have crossed the line, and I'm afraid you're too far gone for a light punishment. Allow me to teach you a little about respect for the deceased heroes of Konoha, and teach you about the true meaning of Kakashi was cut off, as hands popped from the earth. Earth release, double suicide decapitation technique. Kakashi was too off guard to even substitute, as Naruto's real voice came from underneath the ground. However, Rin summoned a kunai before she launched it towards the copy ninja's head. Kakashi wasted no time. Earth style, earth eruption technique. All of that happened at blinded speeds as far as Sakura and Sasuke were concerned. Ninja art, shadow clone kunai technique, Rin said as the kunai multiplied into 100. As if that wasn't bad enough, she hid a kunai in the first one that she threw, hide it right in the shadow, so each of them now had a shadow kunai hidden within themselves. As Kakashi got slashed here and there, nicks and cuts, as Kakashi blocked as best he could. Damn it, I didn't even get the chance to use the Sharingan or perform the handstands for Earth technique. This kid is on a different level altogether. Clearly the academy records were false. The only question is Hokage-sama responsible for this? Or did he hide his skills from everyone? Kakashi wondered as he blocked everything that came towards him. Impressive, Kakashi-kun. You really have grown since the last time we saw each other. I didn't think that Rin was cut off as it was an explosion coming from the copy ninja himself. It seems like he suicide bombed, or maybe there was an explosive placed on him without his knowledge, the latter being the truth. Once again, to say that Sakura and Sasuke were surprised would be a complete understatement. Their new sensei Kakashi Hatake was now lying, face down in a crater. They couldn't believe it, as Kakashi was unable to move, having no idea where that explosive came from. Luckily, he was not blown to pieces, but he could not move, as he did not like the feeling of complete helplessness. Obito-kun, couldn't you at least wait for me to finish talking before you blew our sensei up? Rin said, as she finished saying that a 12-year-old with goggles on his forehead popped from the ground. He chuckled. Sorry Rin-chan, but I didn't want to give away that I switched the bells would transform exploding clones when I dragged them underneath the ground. Obito said sheepishly. Kakashi, Sakura and Sasuke now noticed that he had two bells hanging from him. I guess you do kind of have a point, said Rin, as Kakashi was getting more and more pissed off at Naruto's actions. Yeah, still, I can't believe that he was stupid enough to not use the Sharingan that he stole from me all those years ago. If he might, he would have seen the chakra in the bells and realized that it was not the one he placed on his waist. Obito said as Kakashi's eyes looked towards him with a murderous gaze. As Sasuke intervened, Dope, give me one of those bells, he demanded as he came out of his hiding spot. Having confirmed that Kakashi was no longer a threat anymore, he would later interrogate the Dope, maybe even Kakashi, about the stolen Sharingan. Sure, Obito said, throwing the bell. Sasuke jumped back, like it was some kind of poison or something, as Naruto dispelled the rain transformation, while dispelling Obito one after he threw the bell to him. What's wrong, said Naruto. I thought you wanted one of the bells. What the hell do you take me for, Dope? How do I know that is not one of your exploding shadow clones? Transform, Sasuke said as he was now truly realizing how dangerous Naruto was. And you wonder where he learned that dangerous technique from. Not only could he manifestate real clones, but also turn them into explosives. Damn it, if I had awakened my Sharingan, this would not be an issue. I would have seen through everything, Sasuke thought. Why would I try to blow you up? The mission was to get one of the bells from Kakashi-sensei and attack him with the intent to kill. Nothing was said about attacking you or Sakura. Besides, if I was a murderous psychopath, then Sensei would not be alive right now. I would have put more chakra in the clones and made that explosion strong enough to wipe him out of existence. Naruto said like he was just talking about the weather, like defeating and eliminating an elite Jonin is something that a genin does every day. He was speaking so calm and so normal about it. But it pissed Sasuke off though, as he didn't understand how the Dope could obtain such power and skill, having worked tirelessly himself and being from the Uchiha clan. But he did not believe that he could defeat Kakashi so easily, even at all. If only two people can pass the exam, it makes sense that the Dope would give the other bell to me. Sakura is useless, and even though he likes her, he knows that she's just gonna weigh the team down. Maybe he's not trying to trick me, maybe he's making a logical choice that will benefit him in the long run. Sasuke concluded, but he was still having doubts due to Naruto pranking and not to mention his jealousy towards him when they were in the academy. No, that idiot was obviously a cover. This is real Dope. He was hiding himself the entire time. The seeds of hatred started to fester in his heart once again as he realized the Dope had been tricking him this entire time. You seem hesitant. Here, take this one as well, said Naruto as he threw it towards the ground. Give it to Sakura or do whatever you want to do with it. I am not interested serving under a captain that would turn his own subordinates against each other's for his own amusement, nor who would disregard one of them because they couldn't pass a stupid bell test. As Naruto then turned and walked away, leaving a shocked Sasuke. Hey, wait, Sasuke said. Where the hell are you going, he asked. Back to the academy, said Naruto. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to get a decent Jonin sensei the next time around, as he would have to go and retake that hell once again. This was gonna be a real pain. Sasuke was conflicted. As for Sakura, she was furious at Naruto. She couldn't believe how cool Naruto was trying to act, and she could not forgive him for trying to outshine her precious Sasuke-kun. To her, Naruto should have just backed off and allowed Sasuke to take care of Kakashi-sensei. And he had no right to steal Sasuke's side and act so cool. Of course, in her fragile little mind, and Sasuke's as well, they could not understand a few things. One was that Kakashi did not went all out. I mean, which self-respected Jonin would go all out on a first academy student? Two, even if he did all he could have, he would not be fighting at full strength because he would not use the Sharingan. 3. He underestimated Naruto, or perhaps he had false information on Naruto's skills and intelligent as well. Sasuke understood the second and third reason. After all, he heard the Obito clone that Naruto had created saying that Kakashi was hiding a Sharingan under the headband, and he himself had realized that any information he had on Naruto from the past was outdated or perhaps never real to begin with. However, a combination of his Uchiha pride and the fact that he did not believe that Itachi would have lost to Naruto even under these conditions, or any other circumstances for that matter, led him to the same conclusion, that their Jonin sensei was weak and incompetent. It also did not help Kakashi's case that he had shown to be lazy, arriving so tardy since he met him. As for Sakura, she simply believed if someone like Naruto could defeat Kakashi, then he was weak, and it meant that Sasuke would have defeated him as well in a quicker, neater way. "Dope," Sasuke called out. "What now?" said Naruto. As Sasuke frowned, "Wait for me," he said. 20 minutes later. A lot had happened in a short time since Sasuke decided to follow Naruto back to the village. Naruto could honestly say that he was surprised. After all, going back would stall his plans by an entire year, his plans for revenge. But he was not surprised when Sakura came out to follow them back. Well, follow Sasuke back, that is. Sasuke had been angered by that, given how much of a stickler she was for the rules, always going on about this and that, seeing that, well, studying was one of her things and she wanted to always follow the rules. He thought that she would become Kakashi's student, so they could get rid of the two weaklings. However, they were not able to make it back though. A female cat mask envoy appeared, intercepting them. Sasuke and Sakura were told that they should not return to the academy. They should go home and wait for further instructions, and Naruto should report to the Hokage immediately. Sasuke had demanded to know why that Naruto should report to the Hokage and not him. However, the look that she gave him and told him to shut his mouth and follow orders and simply not question them had shut him up. As two more people arrived, as Naruto sensed them, they had picked up the incapacitated Kakashi and took him toward the hospital. He had to wait for a good 15 minutes before the Hokage let him in, as Naruto believed that it was a stalling process to make him more anxious. But he was now in the office, as Hiruzen took his time to light up his pipe and smoke in front of Naruto, something he had never done before, as Naruto simply watched him like he was just a normal civilian within the village. All the while Hiruzen was watching him. In fact, he was watching Naruto since he began battling Kakashi. He was also watching him for the 15 minutes that he made him wait outside the office. Hiruzen had planned to make him wait much longer, but he was not fazed in the slightest. So he decided to go against his stalling tactic, seeing that it was a waste of time anyway, thinking that a face-to-face stalling tactic would work. But even as he lit up his pipe and started to take a deep draw, Naruto remained unfazed. He simply sat there. He could not feel or read anything negative or positive from him, but the fact that he could not read anything was a concerning matter upon its own. "So, Naruto-kun, as you well know, I always watch over the village with a keen eye, with my crystal ball, as is my duty as a Hokage. However, imagine my surprise when I came across you and your Jonin sensei fighting." Hiruzen trailed off, not saying anything else, waiting to hear the blonde respond and hear what he had to say. However, Naruto simply looked at him. He did not say a word, nor did he move in the slightest. "Did you hear what I say, Naruto-kun?" Hiruzen asked, unsure if Naruto had heard him properly. The tone that he used though, as Naruto before, a long time ago, had seen him as a grandfather, not to mention the tone that he used as a grandfatherly one, but this one was different. This one was the tone of a military leader who wanted answers. "I did, Hokage-sama," Naruto responded, as Hiruzen's eyes narrowed slightly, not only because of the brief and dismissive answer, but the way Naruto addressed him, as he usually addressed him with the suffix of Jiji, but now it was respectful and formal. "Is there something that you want to tell me, Naruto-kun? You know you can tell me anything, right?" Once again using back that grandfatherly tone. Naruto heard it quite well. The switch was instant. "Yes, I know," said Naruto, as he went quiet after that once again. As Hiruzen looked towards him, "Why won't you talk to me, Naruto-kun?" he said. "I thought our bond was a lot stronger than this. I thought you knew that you could come to me with anything that you need to ask." As Hiruzen's expression was one of hurt, deeply saddened by the way Naruto was acting, as he decided to go with another tactic to play on the blonde's emotion to find out what is going on. I don't even know what you want me to talk about. And by the way, you sound like a neglected housewife right now. It's unbecoming of a person in your position, said Naruto. Hiruzen expression changed. As he turned serious, he realized that this was a polar opposite of Naruto that he knew. If the Naruto that he knew exists in the first place. Naruto, I don't want to do this to you, but I will do what it takes to protect this village, Hiruzen said. As he did not follow up with that statement, as Naruto tilted his head. To protect the village. From who? Me? Said Naruto. I wasn't aware I was an enemy to the village. When did this happen, Hokage-sama? Sir Toby cursed under his tone as it seemed like he was the one that was turning the blonde into an enemy. With the way he was leading this conversation between them. But he was unaware that he had already done that a long time ago. But he was just not aware of it yet. Naruto-kun, you graduated dead last in the academy. Yet you managed to defeat an elite jonin with ease. Someone who was considered to be a legendary figure in the shinobi world and rated amongst the best of the Anbu operative of this village. As if it was not shocking enough that you defeated Kakashi in the first place, you have also used jutsus that you have never shown before, jutsus that you shouldn't have known, such as the Shadow Kunai Jutsu, an explosive shadow clone technique, and finally the matter of fact that you were the shortest graduate. Yesterday from your class and today, you are a bit taller than Sasuke Uchiha. Can you blame me for being concerned by these drastic changes? Hiruzen asked innocently. Yes, said Naruto. That was all he said. Excuse me, Hiruzen said. You are not my father or my grandfather. For a matter of fact, you are not my clan head or anything of the sort. There is no reason why these developments should be concerning you. Or is there something that you're not telling me? Sir Toby dreaded that question because he knew it was a trick question because he could not answer it without singling Naruto out that he was Konoha milker weapon. But he had a feeling if he did, that there would be no going back. Losing control of Naruto would not only be bad for Konoha, but it would also be bad for him as well. Because whether Naruto knew it or not, it would be bad for him because Hiruzen would have to get Danzo involved and use his methods to control Naruto, something that he wouldn't want to do, but he would have to. There was another way that he could go about it, but that involved getting Jiraiya and Tsunade involved in the matter. Jiraiya would cooperate, but Tsunade, she was a wild card with her current anti-Konoha and anti-Hidden Village mentality. Are you still angry about what happened 2 nights ago? Hiruzen asked. Listen, said Naruto. I don't have time for this nonsense, so let me give it to you straight. The Shadow Clone Jutsu is not the only jutsu I learned from the scroll. I don't even understand how that was not obvious. I learned the variations of the Shadow Clone technique as well. As for defeating Kakashi, I fail to see how it's surprising seeing that I defeated a well-experienced Chunin 2 nights ago with ease when he was trying to kill me. It's not like I haven't shown the potential of doing what I did today with careful planning. Speaking of careful planning, I'm the guy that stole the Forbidden Scroll in the first place and have outwitted and escaped your Anbu agents when I was a mere academy student. As for my sudden growth spurt, that should be obvious by now. If you hadn't figured it out, my sexy jutsu is not just a normal transformation jutsu, but a shape-shifting technique. So if you've not figured all of that out by now, maybe it's time that you start look for a new successor, said Naruto. His tone was flat and calm, but yet there was an aura behind it. As Hiruzen's eyes narrowed even further, the more that Uzumaki spoke, he couldn't believe it if the implications of what Naruto was telling him was true. Then the kind, naive, childish Naruto was just a mask this entire time. Had he been played and manipulated this entire time? Him, the professor, the god of shinobi, by a child? How was that even possible? And if it was, had he really slipped that much over the years? Or maybe Naruto was just that good? Or was this the Kyuubi doing? Had Naruto somehow made contact with it? Was it in control of him? Was it manipulating him? There was just too many questions. And Hiruzen was sure, even if he continued to ask, he would not get them right now. Or even if he got them, he could not 100% trust them to be true, unless he could verify them. Anko Midarashi and Ibiki were not an option. At least not yet. If he used them, he would have to move Naruto straight from them into the root program because there would be no more trust or love between them. There was another option, of course, to use Inoichi Yamanaka to do the interrogation. However, there was a greater risk probably with that tactic. Years ago, a member of the Yamanaka clan tried to use the mind jutsu on Kushina Uzumaki in the Chunin exams. The results were truly terrifying. It could be attempted though if Jiraiya could lock Naruto's seal very tightly. But there is still no guarantee. Jiraiya did not have full control or understanding over the seal at Naruto wheel. Minato was truly a master within the craft. Nevertheless, I still have to contact Jiraiya and get him to make contact with Naruto-kun. My relationship with him seemed to be irretrievable. I doubt I can ever trust him again. But all I have to do is keep him in line until he can sire a ear, and then the village will be safe. Hiruzen felt a pain that he might have to order the death of someone he saw as a grandson of sorts. Minato legacy. But Naruto will have to produce an heir he could not allow Minato bloodline to die off. But it was mostly because of his Uzumaki heritage to hold the 9 tails back. After all, the beast is too powerful to be contained by any normal vessel. Tell me, Naruto-kun, how long have you been deceiving me, Hiruzen asked, as he released killer intent. However, once again Naruto was just calm. Nowhere near as long as you've been deceiving me. Unless you actually expect me to believe that half-assed story you told me about why you never told me about the Kyuubi. As Naruto wanted Hiruzen to believe that the reason why he was angry was because of the events 2 days ago, when they thought he found out about the Kyuubi. What possible other reason could I had? Hiruzen said, as he skillfully evaded the question, to see what Naruto had to say, as he could not say anything and be caught up in a lie. However, Naruto's retort was small. You tell me. Hiruzen sighed. You know, I could have you arrested and interrogated if I so please. Surely, you don't expect me to believe that you learned the Earth Release, double, suicide decapitation technique from the Forbidden Scroll. Because I can assure you that that technique is not in the scroll. If you think I'm afraid of measly jail time or interrogation, then you're even more of a fool than I thought. I have no friends or no family. No one will miss me when I'm gone. Naruto placed his hands together as he put them out. Do your worst, he said. Hiruzen did not speak. You can arrest me anytime, said Naruto, as he held his hand out. However, Hiruzen realized that lingering threats were not going to work on this new person that he just met, because this could not be the same Naruto. However, the problem was he's overconfident, and he seemed to think that he's invincible, Hiruzen thought. That would be his downfall. Pain was already in his heart as he realized that Naruto was following the same path his prized student Orochimaru followed. But this time he would not make the same mistake, even if he had to kill Naruto. But he really, truly hoped that it did not come to that. But at least, he caught on to it early this time. You're dismissed, Hiruzen said. And you are not to go back to the academy. You are to go home and wait further instructions. The same has been told to your team. Hiruzen realized that any other question, if he was not using a thorough interrogation method, would be useless. It was clear that Naruto would either lie or just avoid the question. He could not use the grandfatherly figure role on Naruto anymore. He had to use a shinobi role on Naruto, shinobi tactics. He had to find out what exactly was going on with him. He had to know everything. He had to. Time skip. That was really stupid, human. The deep, dark voice of the Kyuubi spoke up in Naruto's head as he sat on his couch reading a manga, his favorite one. You think so, said Naruto, without a care in the world. Your arrogance will be your downfall. You really think that wrinkled old monkey will let this go without a fight? You are not a person to him, just the village weapon in case war should break out. He will do whatever it takes to keep hold of you, and if he realizes he cannot, he will kill you. The fox said like he was talking down to a child, which technically that is what he was doing. I know all of that, in fact. I was counting on it. If I had risked keeping my fate mask on, I would have been led to the same fate as the Uchiha clan. They were eliminated because they did not know their enemy already caught on to their schemes and was making plans to get rid of them. From what I heard from Kabuto, Orochimaru fell to the same fate. However, the old man lost his balls at the final moment. He was afraid to kill his prized student, so he allowed him to flee. History showed that this putting on a mask thing does not work on the Hokage, probably because he has the best one of all, that grandfatherly figure thing he placed on his face, pretend like he's someone that you should admire, respect, someone that would be there for you in your weakest moments. But it's all just a mask, a trick. By revealing myself as I did, I have put myself in a situation where I know my enemy is aware of my existence, but I can also control his actions until I am ready to make my move. Also, now that he know I will not fall for his little games, he will no longer be inclined to call me in for questioning. He will begin to hide in the shadows like a shinobi and start to employ tactics as a shinobi. Something that I have been doing and planning for the last 5 years. It also helped that I no longer have to restrict myself if I kept on the mask. Of course, I won't reveal everything I can do, but I also don't have to put myself in that much risk if I had kept the mask of stupidity and weakness up. As Naruto did not trust the fox, but there was no one that the fox could tell, so, well, he could tell him all he wants. That sounded like a well thought out plan, though I can't help but think that it's all just a big ball of crap you're using to excuse the fact that you're tired of playing the stupid, weak, little shit that you were before. Although, I don't see much difference between you and that mask shit than before, the fox said as he laughed darkly. You know, you're full of shit, right? Said Naruto. Don't project yourself onto me, you puny, hairless monkey, he said. Their talks were interrupted by a knock. Come in, said Naruto as he stepped. Or they feel out the signature. No, this is a surprise. Kurenai Sensei. I wonder what she wants. Maybe she wants to talk about what happened at the graduation ceremony, Naruto thought to himself, as he acted surprised. Kurenai Sensei, what are you doing here? He said. Greetings to you too, Naruto-san, and thank you for kindly inviting me inside, so that we can have a decent conversation like two civilized people, she greeted. With that emotionless stare, he now understood her reputation even more as the Ice Queen of Konoha. There's nothing civilized about someone that deceive, manipulate, cheat, and kill for a living. However, for you, I'll make an exception, said Naruto. Please come in, Kurenai, said Naruto, as a small, tiny red appeared on her cheeks. However, she quickly sent them away as she let herself in. Kurenai Sensei is far more acceptable. Let's keep things professional, shall we? She said once she was inside, as she did not turn back as she looked around. Seeing now everything was neatly placed, she was surprised given how unruly he was said to be. You're right. I apologize, and besides, I didn't mean to come off so shallow, said Naruto. Sit anywhere you like, he said, as she decided not to take the couch because that would create a more friendly, intimate atmosphere, and that was not what she was going for. There was a reason why she was here after all, to speak to him. As Naruto simply smiled at her, his act was working very well. After all, he had 5 years to, well, create it and perfect it with Kabuto. However, he was curious, what did she want? Well, something did happen at the graduation, so that must be the case, he thought to himself. As he turned to face her, his polite little smile appeared on his lips. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to be posted. Remember, share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, remember to go ahead and check out the other what ifs. I post a brand new movie of what if Naruto, Ino, and Hinata were sent to the high school DxD universe, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. I also posted a brand new series over on Anime King of what if Naruto was the new god of apocalypse, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy as well guys. And remember, if you're new, yes, 4 channels that I post what if on every single day for guys to enjoy, so go ahead, check them out and yeah, enjoy. So without further ado, I'm out for now, see you guys soon, peace.